Hey rockstars and metalheads, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to be talking about what's been going on in the discipline of dressage. And this needs to be talked about. I know there's a lot of videos that have been made on this, but like since the Olympics have just ended 2 days ago, at the time you'll be seeing this video 2 days ago for the horses, I just want to put my opinion in on this. And this is on how I feel as what's happening on the discipline of dressage itself, on the FEI, and if equestrian sports should be in the Olympics. And so now I am not a dressage rider. I am actually a barrel racer. English, motherfucker. But yeah, I'm a barrel racer, but I'm an equestrian that likes to do the research on all disciplines in the equestrian sport, and to know which ones and like how much abuse they have, how they do it, how the rules are applied, stuff like that. And so I did do my research on dressage so that way I could like do this video. Oh, it's my hair making my boobs look like I'm in a corset. I'm not in a corset. Like anyone cares. So what is dressage to those who are not familiar with the discipline? Well, dressage is a discipline on the English side of the equestrian sport, where it's, one way to put it is the highest extent of training is what Google says, I guess. I mean, I guess it works. And it's where the horse and rider come into a very small, like skinny arena. It's a very short, like it's barely even a fence. A horse could just walk. You could even walk right over it. Where it's like long and you have 5 to 7 judges watching your every move. And you and your horse are in perfect harmony, and your horse is using its body moving its body in a very exaggerated yet beautiful way. And you like dance to fancy music. It's like horse ballet. That's a perfect way to put it. So that's what dressage is. Yeah. And there are a lot of rules. Lots. And you have to be all fancy schmancy. That's why I would never do it if I was an English writer. I'd do cross country because it's dangerous. Well, all horse stuff is dangerous, but like cross country is really dangerous. That's why I would want to do it. Anyways, so now that we figured out what dressage is, we are going to be talking about the levels of dressage. So in any sport, you've got amateur, you've got newbie, you've got amateur, you've got professional, you've got semi-professional, you've got professional. You've got advanced, semi-advanced, advanced, semi-professional, and then professional. Sometimes you have a test lined out and you have to do that exact test, and then sometimes you can make up your own moves and do it to your own music, which is, I think called the Grand Prix freestyle. And this is a discipline, one of the 3 equestrian disciplines that make it into the Olympics. There is eventing, aka cross country, show jumping, and then dressage. And you have to be a very rich and pro rider to make it to that level. And when I say rich, I mean rich. You have to pay for it to get in there, because like not only do you have to be like good enough to make it to the Olympics, but you got to have the money to make it into the Olympics. Like rich people only make it there. So if there's people out there who's like, oh, me and my horse are gonna make it to the Olympics one day, you're gonna need a lot of money to do that. Not saying you can't, I'm just saying you're gonna need a lot of money. And like there is in any sport, there are always big cool heroes that we look up to, like the very cool riders. But lately, a lot of pro riders have been getting exposed abusing horses. And like, for example, Edward Gal, the writer of Totilas, I think that's how you say his name, where he abused Totilas by using rocker. Rocker is a hyperflexing of the neck, so you have a vertical in dressage, okay? You have your horse's head collected. You want their body collected so that way they're using all of their muscles from the back to the front, and you have their head in a position. And if your head is on the vertical, you are not hurting them. If it's too far out, it's not in collected enough. And if it's too far back behind the vertical, that is rocker and hyperflexation. And that is it's a very uncomfortable position to put a horse into. It's very stressful for them. And it can cause them to have a hard time breathing. It basically cuts off their airways. So that's what he did to Totilas. Another example of a rider who uses rocker is the 7-time Olympic qualifier Isabel Wirth of Germany. She uses rocker in training. And there are literal pictures of her doing it in the 90s when she was younger. But yeah, so she does that as well. There is Carlos Paro of Brazil, and only a couple weeks ago when the Olympics started, 2 days into the competition, he was caught using rocker in the warm-up pen, and he got a warning. Personally, I think he should have been eliminated, but he wasn't. Another way horses are being abused in dressage are by riders with harsh hands abusing the use of bits. Now, bits are not abusive unless used incorrectly. This goes for spurs and whips. Even hackamores can be abuse too. Everything can be abuse if you use it wrong. Even a soft snaffle bit can be abuse. And I'm not against bits unless it's a literal satanic torture device that's literally made for horses. These bits in particular, stay away from those. Those things should be made illegal. But these riders are abusing the use of the bit, causing horses' tongues to bleed, to turn blue, causing their mouths to bleed, and even scarring on their lips. An example of someone who made their horse's mouth bleed is an Italian rider, Emiliano Portale, from just a couple weeks ago, just 2 days into the Olympics. Not only was Carlos Paro caught abusing a horse with rocker, but Emiliano Portale was eliminated for his horse's mouth bleeding. His horse's mouth was covered in blood, like just everywhere. Another case of horses bleeding in their mouth is Charlotte Fry of Great Britain. And now a lot of people really like Lottie Fry, which I did too at one point. I actually at one point respected her and thought of her as thought very highly of her until I realized what kind of a rider she really is. And she lost all my respect. But at the Olympic qualification competition, her stallion Everdale's mouth was bleeding and she was eliminated for it. Pretty interesting how you'll only get eliminated by the FEI if your horse is literally bleeding. It's pathetic. Speaking of Lottie Fry, she also gave Everdale blue tongue. Blue tongue is when the rider is pulling too hard on the horse's mouth, and it literally cuts off the oxygen and blood supply to the horse's tongue, and it turns blue.
Hi, Dutchie, I love you. I'm a baby Dutchie. I'm a baby Dutchie.
Sorry, you didn't see anything. Anyways, yes, she did that. That's what blue tongue is. And back in December of 2023, Everdale's tongue, I keep getting confused with Glever. She has two stallions named Everdale and Glamourdale. Like, bitch, pick one. Everdale's tongue was literally blue and it was waving at the judges, and the judges just didn't give a f. They did nothing about it. Another rider who gives horses blue tongue is Patrick Kittel of Sweden. And touchdowns. Sorry about that. My little sister called me. Anyways, as I was saying, Patrick Kittel of Sweden made his horse's touchdown turn blue. And this was in January of this year at the World Cup. And he gave his horse blue tongue, but the FBI didn't give a f. And he won the World Cup. Pathetic. And another thing that happens with the bit is sometimes they give horses scars on the lips, only because if the rider is using them wrong. Again, I said things are abusive if used incorrectly. But they will hide these scars with marshmallow fluff. Now, we all know that horses can foam at the mouth. They do it a lot in dressage. And so horse saliva and sweat has a very high concentration of latherine, which is a protein, and it makes their saliva and sweat look all fluffy and foamy. And so horses also foam at the mouth for 3 different reasons. The first reason is they are accepting the bit and just relaxing their mouth, which is a good thing. You want them to accept the bit. You want them to be relaxed, which means they're calm, and they might just do some dribbles. It's not like a full-on mess all over their mouth. The second reason is they're happy. The horse is happy, and you can obviously they have the happy horse face, like the relaxed face. The ears are relaxed, like either sideways or forward. They have the happy eye, and they will have like a thin layer but prominent layer of foam coating their lips. They look like they have like white lipstick on. And then the third and final reason is if the horse is stressed out. Now, of course, they have to have the stressed horse face, like their eyes are going to be wide, their muscles and their face are going to be tensed up, and they are going to have like a huge layer of foam coating their mouth, like it's everywhere. Now, about those scars, if you see a horse and rider enter the ring and like a competitor enter and they already have like the horse already has a huge layer of fluff around their lips, you should be suspicious of that, because very likely the horse has scars on their lips and they're using marshmallow fluff to hide it. So keep that in mind. Another way horses are abused in dressage is overspurring. Now, spurs are not abused unless used incorrectly, but Colombian rider Cesar Parra, his horses have been overspurred to the point that they are bleeding at their sides. Like they have been spurred so hard, they have scars on their ribs. Probably bruises on their actual ribs, but on the skin, blood has been drawn. And he's also overwhipped a horse before, and whips are not abuse unless used incorrectly. And not only is he just a horrible piece of shit who abuses animals, but he's also being investigated by the FBI for human trafficking. Like, what? Human trafficking. That is scary. And finally, the most recent case of horse abuse that is all over the internet is of British rider Charlotte Dujardin. If you do not know who she is, she rode Vallegro in the Olympics. And a video that was taken 2 to 4 years ago surfaced of her viciously whipping a horse's legs 24 times with a lunge whip.
This is so shit, it hits hard.
You could literally hear the horse's skin being smacked. She was whipping the horse so hard. And I was shocked. And because I looked at Charlotte as one of the best female riders in dressage. Like, I've heard so many good things about her, how kind she is and how good she is to her horses, but I guess she's just a fake piece of shit, and she really is just an abuser in disguise, a mother abuser in disguise. And she lost all my respect. You're probably thinking to yourself, holy shit, Sienna, why aren't these riders being banned from competing for life and getting their horses taken away? Why aren't they being sentenced to in prison for animal abuse? Well, I have one good reason. The International Equestrian Federation, aka the FEI, does not give a They do not care. They couldn't give a flippity flying They could not give a rat's ass. They could not care less. It really is as simple as that. They just don't care. They literally gave Patrick Kittle the World Cup title when his horse's tongue was blue. And so that means he was still allowed to compete in the Olympics. They literally praise Isabel Worth on their channel when she literally abuses horses in training, and she was still allowed to compete in the Olympics. They only eliminated Emiliano Portale and Charlotte Fry for their horses' tongues bleeding mouths bleeding because there was blood present. They do not care about these horses. They literally did not give a when Glamourdale's tongue was blue, waving at the judges at the 2023 dressage whatever. They literally ignored Tortillas' roller. They literally only gave Carlos Paro a warning for using roller. They literally do not care. The only reason they banned Charlotte Jordan from the Olympics is because they are getting pressured to do so. They don't care. These horses are literally showing pain in their mouths, in their faces. Like, you can see the pain face. And they just ignore these horses' cries for help. The judges just ignore them. And they give these riders high scores. And it's... Ugh. The FEI literally just turns a blind eye to horses being blatantly abused in these disciplines. Dressage being the highest, cross country being the middle, and then show jumping being the lowest. Like, and instead of doing their job, which is to ban and eliminate abusive riders for life, which should be the job, they reward them. They literally give them prizes. Like, it's horrible. One way I can put it is like when a kid shoots up a school, or when a kid starts showing signs of being a psychopath or a sociopath, and the parents are interviewed and the parents are all like, we had no idea this was going to happen. Like, he was such a good kid. He always behaved so normal. Yes, you knew. You just didn't care enough to pay attention. This goes with the FEI. Like, they're all like, oh, we had no idea this rider was so abusive to horses. They knew. They knew. They just don't give a Because of the FEI being such a piece of shit and allowing these piece of shit riders to compete, they are making the entire dressage sport look bad. They are making all the pro riders look bad. Literally, ignorant people are like, oh, all pro riders are abusive. All of them are abusive. When no, that's not at all the truth. That isn't the truth. Like that's just being ignorant. But because of these bad apples, everybody looks bad. And because of all the stuff that's happening, and because the FEI just doesn't care, people want to petition to get the equestrian sports out of the Olympics. And I'm just like, bro, like, are you serious? Like, it's not the discipline itself that's the problem. It's the FEI and the abusive riders that are the issue. And I know I'm going to get a bunch of people commenting, oh, you're only putting your wants before the horse's welfare. You only care about watching the horses on the Olympics and blah, blah, blah. Like, shut the fuck up. That's not at all the reason. Like, if I didn't care about horses' welfare, I wouldn't be making this video. Like, use your brain if you have one. The equestrian sport deserves to get recognition in the Olympics because there are so many people out there that are like, oh, equestrianism isn't a sport. Blah, 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 blah. Like, and which is really annoying. And these bad apples, these bad people in the disciplines abusing horses and this stupid FEI who just turns a blind eye is the reason everybody in the sport looks bad. Overall, what's been happening in the sport, the discipline is really unfortunate. However, only 30% of dressage itself is abuse. Which, yeah, it's a high number, but it's not like, but that would mean, now I have to use my brain. I hate using math. I'll be right back. Okay, I used my brain. That means 70% of dressage is not abuse. So, yeah, it's really just these bad apples and the FEI not giving a about what's happening that's making the entire discipline with the riders look bad, when the truth is they aren't all bad. So what's the purpose of me making this video? Well, the one reason is to get out my frustration, and the main reason is if you ever come across the FEI's channel, call them out in their comment section. Call them out. Tell them how horrible they are. Tell them that they need to stop allowing abusers compete. Stop, Rose. All right, thank you guys so much for watching me rant and spread awareness. If you liked the video, go ahead and leave a like by punching the like button right in the face. And I'd really appreciate it if you smash the red subscribe button and ding the notification bell to become part of the family. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace, love, and blessings to you all. Bye. Now I have to go to do stupid school pictures. Ugh.